Welcome back to Uncle Matt's Cookery Lessons. There is a recipe on the screen for Welsh Rarebit, and there's a picture of it. Should we see how to make it? So there you can see, arranged very nicely on my board, is the ingredients for the Welsh Rarebit. It's quite a lot of ingredients, but actually it's quite simple and easy to make, and it is a snack. A snack best eaten about midnight, or whenever it is you've rolled in from the pub, and you had the foresight to make some of this and keep it in the fridge. It's unlikely, I know, but if you know you're going to the pub, think ahead. The spring onions that you see me slicing up here is an additional extra. I just think it's really, really nice. So this wouldn't be in a classic Welsh Rarebit. And also a classic Welsh Rarebit, I believe, would have stout. Now, I'm not that keen on stout, so I'm using a light ale just because I like it. If you want to use cider, by all means, you can do it. It would then maybe be called a Somerset Rarebit, not a Welsh one, isn't it? See? Okay, I won't do any more accents. Well, I'm going to try not to. You see me separating eggs there because we want egg yolks. The egg whites I threw away. If you want to make meringue, keep them. And there's me grating some cheddar cheese. That is an extra mature. I think that is important. Don't try to cheap out here. Buy the sort of the sharpest, tangiest cheddar that you can find. And that's that done. The makers of Badger's Ale, if you feel like sponsoring this channel, get in touch. Be more than happy. Choose a pan big enough for you to be able to stir this in. So, as if we were making a bechamel white sauce, we're making a roux. That means melting the butter. Equal quantities of butter and flour. Right, so butter melted, flour in, stir to make a roux. I cooked that out for about a minute on a low heat, just to try to get the raw edge off the flour. And then I put in mustard powder, English mustard powder and chilli. Up to you what you put in. If you don't have a dried English mustard powder and you put a wet mustard in, just put it in later after you've put the other wet ingredients in. But because I was using a powder, I thought, well, let's get it in with the roux before we add the beer. And now the beer. So I don't put all my liquid in one go. I put in about 3 goes. It was a 500 milliliter bottle of beer, and I only needed 400 milliliters for the recipe. So, you know, for the sake of the video, I had to have a couple of swigs. So I've made this edited down, so it's a lot shorter, the process, but whenever I add liquid, I move the roux around nice and slowly, let it gather up the liquid rather than me trying to whisk it all in. I don't like using whisks when I do this. And there we go. Now, I apologise on behalf of this roux for making such a rude noise. That genuinely, I've never heard that before. That is the Welsh Rarebit making a trumping noise. I'm so embarrassed. But I thought I'd keep it in there because it just really amused me. Now, if you just came into this video at this stage, you might think I was making toffee. I can't believe how much that looks like toffee. Gonna have a taste, obviously. Always important to taste your food. What I'm really tasting there for is just to see whether the flour has the rawness of the flour is completely gone. I'm pretty happy with that. So now it's time to get the cheese in, but what you must not do now is boil this anymore. So I've turned the gas off at this stage, just so I can get this cheese in there without it splitting, separating. It would just be nasty. I didn't measure the Worcester, that was just by eye. I think that was about a tablespoon. We'll use more of it later on as well. And anyone that watches Food Wishes, can you please tell John Worcestershire sauce or Worcester sauce, not Worcestershire? He's reading too much into the spelling. Right then, and the spring onions are in. Finally, the egg yolks. Again, I put the heat back on, but only very, very low, because I do not want to scramble these eggs or split that cheese. So if you see it boiling, take it off the heat. Just very, very, very low heat. And that was it. That's about the right thickness. It will naturally thicken a little bit more. I want to cool it down before I use it. At least cool it down to sort of room temperature. So I'm popping that in the fridge. I just cling film it, but I uncover a bit just so it doesn't completely steam and condensate in there. I want the steam to escape. So Welsh Rarebit is basically cheese on toast. So we need toast. This is the piece of bread that I chose. I think it's very important that you cut thick slices. You want door stoppers. But, if you want to use your pre-bought sliced bread, feel free, knock yourself out. It's your Welsh Rarebit, isn't it? And I like to season my croutons. I've got my grill, or in America, broiler, on its highest setting. I've got the rack quite close to the top, so I've given that a couple of minutes either side, and now I've got some lovely toast. Now it's time to top said toast with the Welsh Rarebit. Be generous. In fact, maybe more generous than I was. Really pile it on if you like, and if it melts and drips over the side, that all adds to the aesthetic, doesn't it? So yeah, next time I make this, I'm putting more on than that, definitely. I think I was worried about the shots looking a bit too rustic, the photographs, but no. Well, you can see for yourself now. Oh. Really, honestly, how can you not want to just dive in immediately and bite into that? Well, don't, obviously, because it's going to burn the hell out of your mouth if you do. It is bubblingly hot. Oh, lovely. Now, this is a trick that most people do when they do Welsh Rarebit, because you want to put more Worcester sauce on, so you create like a kind of crosshatch with a knife, or palette knife there, and you put more Worcester on it, and that gives the Worcester somewhere to hang out rather than just sort of running off and sliding off the sides. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is, I believe, the greatest cheese on toast imaginable. I can't think it anywhere making that better. Absolutely delicious. And it's really versatile. You can add whatever you want. If you're a chilli fiend, whack tons of chilies in it. Do whatever you want with it. The video should be over, but I was chatting with my lady, and she's on a low-carb diet at the moment. I know, I should be as well, but I'm not. So I was thinking to myself, okay, how can I do something for her that doesn't involve the crouton? And I was thinking, obviously I've done this before, things like mushrooms. You can get large mushrooms, take out the stalk, and just fill them up, or you can pre-cook them a bit, and then fill them up with the Welsh Rarebit, and that is very, very nice. But I was thinking, what if I can do it with an onion to be really fancy for this video? So I sliced nice and thick the onion. I seasoned them with salt. And actually I left them for about 10 minutes to draw some of the excess water out, and then I've rubbed them with olive oil. I've got my char grill pan, there it is, but if you don't have that you can just have your oven on, very, very high setting. But I thought, yeah, let's have an experiment here. So this is, because it's still in the video, you can probably guess that it went okay. This did take a while, and they are a bit delicate, and there we go, little casualty. Tasty one. And then that one there, when I tried to move it, it fell apart, so I was determined. I put it back on my board and I reassembled it. Those I've had now about 5 minutes in the oven as well, okay, to be cooked through. And I let them cool down, and I thought, right, I've also got some pulled pork in my fridge. That's not in this recipe. That's another one maybe. Let me know if you want to see that. But I thought, yeah, let's put some pulled pork on top of these onions and then top that with the Welsh Rarebit. What could possibly not be nice about that? And it's back under the grill. Come on, chop chop. And let's see what they look like. And they look nice. I didn't show you me eating them. You need them on a plate, definitely, because they're a bit looser. You can't pick them up and bite into them. They'll just fall apart and burn you. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this episode of Uncle Matt's Cookery Lessons. Yeah, subscribe, like, comment, ask me questions, all of that stuff. I don't mind if the questions are silly and having a bit of fun, and I don't mind if they're critical. Go for it. I've got a thick skin. Anyway, this one's over. See you in the next one coming really soon. Bye.